Chapter 2. Your environment. If you've been out of housing for a long time, it can be hard to settle into your own space. Caring for your space. Here are some helpful questions that can help guide you as you decorate your space. What colors make you feel most soothed and at home? Can you bring these colors into the space through rugs, bedding, or decorations? Do you have a favorite sports team, band, movie, or video game? How can you bring this into your space? Do you have photos of loved ones, favorite places, beloved pets, or yourself to put up? Are there creative ways to store some of your belongings? How will you use the space? This might help you decide whether to set up any common areas such as a dining area, TV area, or workspace. Do you have enough lighting, or do you need to add in a few lamps?
When Daniel first moved into his apartment, he had a hard time accepting that the space was really his. Daniel was used to having to carry everything he owned. Now that he had a place to put things, it was hard to let anything go. Daniel kept bringing more things, which made him more overwhelmed, which made him hang on to more things. And his vicious cycle continued until he asked for help. Daniel's friends were able to help Daniel clear out some of his things and bring in decorations. His case manager helped him rent a moving truck and find a local service that provided free furniture to people who were newly re-entering housing. Now that Daniel had broken his cycle, he just needed to maintain his space, which he did with the help of a chore list.
Make your own chore list. Making the bed. Dusting. Scrubbing the toilet. Tidying clutter. Scrubbing the shower. Washing dishes. Putting away dishes. Cleaning the kitchen. Doing the laundry. Sweeping. Vacuuming. Do you have chores that aren't listed here? Which of these things do you need to do?
Do you need help learning how to do any of your chores? When he first moved in, Daniel didn't know how to scrub a toilet or what materials he needed to get started. Once he admitted this, he was able to get set up with toilet cleaner, a brush, and a new set of skills.
Chore schedule. Next to each chore on your list, write down how often you think it needs to be done. Making the bed, daily. Dusting, every 2 weeks. Scrubbing the toilet, once a week. Tidying clutter, every other day. Scrubbing the shower, once a week. Washing dishes, daily. Putting away dishes, daily. Cleaning the kitchen, once a week. Doing the laundry, once a week. Sweeping, daily. Vacuuming, once a week. You might have to test this out over time. Daniel thought he would need to dust every day, but he was actually fine to dust every 2 weeks. Meanwhile, he thought he would sweep once a week, but it turned out sweeping every day was much better for him. Your schedule will be unique to you, so decide what you want to try first and then adjust it as needed. Following your lease. When Sophia first entered housing, she had been rotating through shelters after aging out of the foster care system. Sophia tried to study the lease, but the language was very technical. Her faucet started leaking, and she knew she was required to report it, but she didn't know how. If she avoided the problem, her belongings could be damaged, or she could get in trouble. Sophia knew she could talk to property management, her case manager, or her neighbors, and decided to talk to the person she was most comfortable with. Soon, property management fixed her leak and sat down with her to help her understand the other points in the lease.
Know your lease. Rent and lease. How do I pay my rent? How do I renew my lease? When and how does benefits recertification take place? How do I report changes in income if that is required? Do I have a copy of my lease and other important paperwork in a safe space? My living space. Do I know how to take care of my living space? What are the policies for guests staying over? Am I allowed to smoke inside my apartment? Am I allowed to have pets? What is the process to get pets? My place in the building. How do I report maintenance issues? How do I vacate my apartment during a fire alarm? What do I do if I smell gas? Am I respecting my neighbor's private spaces and belongings, including packages? What are the rules around using common spaces, such as laundry rooms, mail areas, and community rooms? Do I know how to talk and manage conflict with my neighbor?
Sophia knew from her lease that she wasn't able to have guests stay for more than 2 weeks. This was hard for her because Claudia, her best friend from the shelter, needed a place to stay. Sophia wanted to help her friend, but she didn't want to jeopardize her apartment and end up back in the shelter. Claudia was eventually able to rent her own apartment, and the two kept supporting each other as they learned new household skills. I'm afraid to live alone. I was too.
Living in your own apartment can be a big adjustment after a period of time in shelters, outdoors, or the homes of loved ones. It's okay to take things slow. Consider which of these areas will have the biggest impact on your overall well-being. For Daniel, it was helpful to create a chore list to keep his place clean before he started decorating. While for Sophia, her first step was finding her supportive relationships within her building. Out of everything we've discussed in this chapter, what feels like the best place to start to you? Following your lease, taking care of your space, making a chore list, decorating in your personal style.